What's up, Wolfman Grim Reaper here making another video. This time I'm doing a thing called Wolfman Weighs In, when I weigh in on something. So, what I felt like weighing in on is the Star Wars topic. I like a lot of Star Wars stuff. This will be my first ever Star Wars content related thing. I did the Lego Star Wars gameplay videos. I did a 16 video playlist of it already. Have a playlist of it. It's just checking text message, but anyway, right now I feel like going ahead and doing some Star Wars. I got a book called The Ultimate Visual Guide. Well, this book has a lot to do with the Legends thing, which I remember the whole thing going on with the Disney sale and when Disney bought Star Wars and the whole Star Wars Disney purchase thing. A lot of the stuff in here, there's some from the Star Wars Expanded Universe referred to as Legends. And the whole new canon that went on in that has been going on in recent years, from back in the last decade of the 2010s decade. I think it was about in 2017, The Force Awakens, and the Rise of Skywalker that came out in 2019 with all 9 films. But anyway, I felt like focusing on the Legends Luke Skywalker, how all the Jedi, how few Jedi had survived. But what went on is that he meant to have the destiny of his journey, because growing up, he lived as a smart moisture farmer kid. He was a young kid in moisture farming, and he was just 18 years old at the time, just dreaming of something more than what a life on the desert planet of Tatooine would give him, and he was wanting more than just that moisture farming life. Always dreaming of something more than what a life on Tatooine was going to give him. Not really knowing how things were going to go on. He did, but he just did not know the dark secrets behind that dream. He did not know the dark secrets that were going on behind it. He did not know any better about it. He did not know one single thing about what was going to come his way. Not one thing did he know that was going to happen to him. I mean, he was portrayed as the everyman character, like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. He was meant to be that kind of a character, the everyman. And the everyman character is when the writer of a fictional story makes a story and the main character is made in a way when you view the story or see the story, you can relate to the character. And he was made in ways that you could relate to and see. He had all kinds of family issues and life problems. He was just a young boy not knowing what he was going to do with his life, dreaming of something more than what Tatooine life is going to give him. So, and not knowing the dark secrets behind those dreams. So, what was going on is that he was just not knowing any better. He got upset. He looked at a sunset, feeling he might have had a future, thinking he could have had a future. And then he had a nasty encounter with the Sand People. He met Obi-Wan. He saw a thing of his sister Leia saying, "Help, Obi-Wan, you're my own hope." That message, and taking it as the fact that there was going to be no other option, but he had to meet Leia. And what happened is he met up with Obi-Wan, and he later thought, and he had the hero's journey. He just, he lived on his land, just dreamed of something more than what a life on his homeland was going to give him. So then he felt like, I guess maybe he had a destiny. Was he just probably did not know he was destined to have it. He wasn't he did not know any better about being destined for that journey, because prior to it he met up with Obi-Wan and there was a call to adventure, and there was going to be a call that would bring him to the adventure and get him off the land, that he off of his home, and have him dealing with folks like what he wouldn't be dealing with back home. And just like how, when Dorothy was on the journey she was going to be dealing with a lot of folks like she wasn't going to be dealing with back in Kansas. He went through that kind of scenario. So when you go on a big hero's journey like Luke Skywalker did, you meet the mentor, he gives you a call and a call to adventure, and he rejected the call, almost doing so. It was like, I can't. Look, Obi-Wan, I can't. I got work to do, I got errands to run, I got a lot of things to do. A lot of things to do. I mean, it's not that I don't like the Empire. I mean, I hate it. I think is what the quote was, where he said, I was like, I can't. Saying he couldn't because he had work to do and he didn't like what the Empire did because he lost his aunt and uncle, the closest thing he'd known to a family. I think it was. I'd have to rewatch it and look it up again and try to memorize it again. But what happened with him is he had to endure so much, is what had happened with him. He just went through a lot of mess. He just went through such a mess. And Obi-Wan said, I'm getting too old for these kinds of things. Leia needs your help. I need your help. I'm getting too old for these sorts of things. So then he decided to reluctantly agree, and then he met up with him taking the land speeder. And then the really funny, these aren't the droids you're looking for. These are not the droids we are looking for. And the whole Jedi mind trick, working on only those who are weak-minded. It is a classic moment, and it is kind of funny, especially whenever he met R2 and C-3PO. And those are oftentimes the droids I'm looking for, and I do like to make that joke, that whole, these are not the droids you're looking for. But then he met up with Han Solo, and he almost got chased by the Empire, and they rode away in the Millennium Falcon, and they fought the Empire, and he took what Jedi training he could have taken. And even in Empire Strikes Back, he was later taking bigger risk. And even when he was getting trained by Yoda on Dagobah, and he went there, and he met up with him, and around that same time, I'll do another thing about Luke, how and why he resisted the dark side, why his father didn't. He inherited his father's lightsaber, and he kind of took Obi-Wan's knowledge. He mostly just said, oh, your father was a pupil of mine. A Sith Lord named Darth Vader murdered your father. And he was training, and then he decided, I just had a vision. Leia and Han are in trouble. I gotta go save them. And Yoda, after having his rant with his much anger in him, he has no patience. I cannot teach him. Plus, he's too old to train. I do want to imitate the voice. I cannot teach him. He is too old to train. He is too old. I cannot teach him. He has too much anger in him, like his father before him. Too much anger. And that's just that voice of Frank Oz. Even though I've watched behind the scenes, he mostly just did puppeteering with Yoda, and he voice acted over the puppet. And that was really cool and all, but that's another topic for another time. Behind the scenes of Star Wars and how and why the father-son duo of Anakin Skywalker and Luke Skywalker, as to why they why Luke resisted the dark side and his father Anakin didn't. Because I've always liked Return of the Jedi because he took the revelation strong. Because whenever he was training with Yoda and left incomplete to save Leia and Han, he fought Vader. And anyway, I'll just go ahead and quote it. And he was like, "Did Obi-Wan tell you about your father?" He was like, "Yeah, he told me you killed him. He's told me you're the man named Darth Vader and you murdered him." It's like, "I did not murder him. Luke, take this with a grain of salt. I am your father." And he went, "No, I am your father." And he thought, "No, that can't be. Obi-Wan says you killed him. I don't believe it." And I don't know how and why George Lucas ever thought of Vader being Luke's father, but he said, "I am your father" to him after he cut his hand off. And he thought, "No, Obi-Wan told me you killed him." He said, "No, I'm your father." And he thought, "Oh no, you're my father. That can't be, that's impossible." And later, then and there, he was shocked by that revelation. And revelation is defined as an unknown fact. And that unknown fact was Darth Vader was Luke's father. Luke took that and he thought it was not good. Not good. And plus, he was around at the same time. Vader took the revelation. Palpatine was manipulating him, making him believe that he wasn't his father. Well, he was in a pretty big depression because of the fact that what happened was he had lost so much. He lost his mother, he lost a good best friend, and he was being manipulated by Palpatine. And Palpatine, at the same time, was the closest thing he had to a friend. Well, a friend, if you call him that, a friend would one day praise you for your efforts, and then the next day send an assassin after you just to see if you were a worthy tool for him, just to see if you were a worthy asset for him. And it wasn't very nice for him. But Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, growing up in the ages of 18 to 21 years old, he was 18 at the beginning. He met Obi-Wan when he was 18. He started beginning his journey when he was 19. Started getting into Jedi training around the ages of 19 and 20. He was 20 whenever he was returning back to Tatooine and saving his friends, and then fighting his own father again, and then later feeling bad that he could not bring him to the light side and having redeemed him at the ages of 20 and 21 years old. At the age of 21, he started taking upon Jedi knowledge and going to places like Rogus Voss, Deveron, Jeddah, and Ilum is where he was going. And having gone to places like Deveron, Rogus Voss, Jeddah, and Ilum were many things that brought him his Jedi knowledge. And he was actually rebuilding the Jedi Order, and he rebuilt it on Yavin, teaching many young Jedi, even teaching his own family members. As in Legends, the Skywalker family tree was that what happened was that Leia and Han. Han became a father, and Leia became a mother, and she had a daughter and two sons. Anakin Solo, whom she named after her father, his father, while Jason and Jaina were just named that because they sound like good names to Han. And then Luke became father himself, and he had a son named Ben Skywalker. And he even married a woman named Mara Jade, a former Empire soldier in Palpatine informant turned Jedi, and taught her in the ways of the Force to become a Jedi. And rebuilding the Order is what he'd done. And becoming a new Jedi Grand Master. And the thing I think about was, did he ever think that was he really meant to have that kind of destiny? What was his destiny? Was it his destiny to be? I mean, his destiny probably came to pass. He just started out as a young boy in Tatooine as a moisture farmer. And later, over the years, he met Obi-Wan, rejected a call to adventure, took up to adventure. He blew up a Death Star. He collected Jedi knowledge on places like Jedha, Ilum, and Vrogus Voss, all Jedi homeworlds in the world of Star Wars. He collected knowledge from there. He also later was becoming the Jedi Grandmaster, and even whenever he left Dagobah training incomplete, fought Vader, learned Vader was his father. And even in Return of the Jedi, what I've loved about it so much was the whole, have you taken the truth? I've taken the truth. You were once Anakin Skywalker, my father. He was a Jedi. You go, that name has no meaning to me. And you go, Father, it's the name of your true self that Emperor Palpatine has not made you forgot. You have not forgotten it. Palpatine has not fooled you into forgetting it completely. I believe there is still good in you. And then he fought, and then later Palpatine thought, Luke, kill your father, and I will turn you to the dark side. And he later turned off his lightsaber and he went, never. I will never turn to the dark side. I will fail you, and you have failed. I will fail you, and the fact that I'm failing you right now is because I will not fall to the dark side. I am a Jedi like my father before me. And he thought, shit, be it. And he just shot lightning out of his fingers, electrocuting him. And really, he did redeem his father, and his father became a Jedi once again in his own right. Redeeming his father, he may have died, and he may have placed him on a thing of wood and had him burned. But what happened was it brought him the life he was dreaming of. The life he desperately wanted that was not him being stuck on Tatooine forever. Becoming a new Jedi and rebuilding the Jedi Order and taking lessons from Yoda and Obi-Wan and later attempts at, and even when he redeemed his father. So really come to think of it, was he really meant to be following that kind of path? Was he destined for it? Probably so. He was probably destined for it. You know, he did not know what he was going to do with his life, but then he came across various mentors. He took good lessons from mentors, and in doing so, he became what he wanted. He became possibly one of the best men that there ever was. He rejected a call to adventure, but then he went on a big journey. He learned who his family was. He learned Leia was his sister, Vader was his father. and Vader was his father. And he took that knowledge and then later had his family extended whenever Han Solo became his brother-in-law. And he had 2 nephews and 1 niece in Legends. And when it comes to the Legends, Luke, the whole point I was thinking about was he meant to have that destiny? I knew he wanted to get away from Tatooine. He dreamed of something more, what a life on Tatooine would give him. He was one to deal with folks like he wouldn't have been dealing with back at home. He was the everyman, and really, through it all, he probably was. He did a lot of insane things. I mean, he fought his father twice. He fought his father twice. He disobeyed Yoda's order about fighting his father. He learned Leia was his sister. He learned Vader was his father. He also had learned how to build a lightsaber from Jedi knowledge, and he became the new Jedi Master. And really, I guess maybe he was meant to have that happen to him. Going just from a Tatooine farm boy, a moisture farm boy, to becoming a Jedi in Star Wars. He watched the sunset, looked to the horizon, and became one thing, and became amazing. And he just took many leaps of faith. So really, let me know in the comments below, was Luke meant to really follow his destiny? Because he just started out as nothing more than a moisture farm boy who became a Jedi. Was that his destiny? Let me know in the comments below. Wolfman Reaper.